For centuries, we've dreamed of creating machines in our own image. It's been the stuff of science fiction forever. But now, that dream is literally walking out of the research lab and onto the factory floor. So let's get into it. We're going to explore the incredible rise of humanoid robots, meet the key players who are pushing the boundaries, and really confront the massive challenges, both technical and ethical, that are still ahead.
Just look at the difference here. Seriously. On the left, you've got the Wabot one from 1973. It was an absolute marvel for its time, but let's be honest, it's a clunky bundle of wires and motors. Now look at the right, a sleek, AI-powered robot from 2026 that can actually hold a conversation with you while it makes coffee. In just over 50 years, a single lifetime, we've gone from a mechanical curiosity to a commercial product. The fantasy is finally getting real.
But this whole idea, this obsession with building artificial versions of ourselves, it's not new, not by a long shot. This is a story that goes back centuries, way before electricity or computers even existed, starting with ancient texts and these incredibly intricate clockwork creations. And when you look at the timeline, you can see how things slowly but surely picked up steam. We start way back in 1495 with Leonardo da Vinci's Mechanical Knight, which was really just an amusement for royalty. Fast forward to 1973, and Japan's Wabot 1 becomes the first true full-size humanoid. Then, in 2000, boom, Honda's Asimo comes along and just captures the world's imagination. And by 2015, you have robots like DRC Hubo actually performing complex tasks for disaster response. It's a clear journey from simple amusement to real-world function.
Which brings us right up to today. And honestly, 2026 is shaping up to be a massive turning point, a year where these incredible machines are finally making the leap from R&D into actual commercial pilots. So, let's meet the main contenders.
In the commercial ring right now, it really boils down to two major players, Figure and Tesla. And this chart kind of tells a tale of two different strategies. Tesla's Optimus is all about speed and affordability, powered by the same AI they use for their cars. Figure, on the other hand, is leaning into longer battery life and this powerhouse partnership with OpenAI. But here's the kicker, the really critical part. Look at the commercial status. Figure is already working in a BMW factory. That gives it a huge head start in real-world experience. And of course, you absolutely cannot talk about this space without mentioning the original trailblazer, the rock star of the group, Boston Dynamics. Their Atlas robot, you've seen the videos of it doing backflips, is not just a research project anymore. A brand new, all-electric version is now being deployed in Hyundai's factories, officially marking its entry into the industrial workforce.
So the crucial thing to understand about Tesla's strategy, like we saw in the chart, is scale. It's all about mass production. By designing their own parts and using everything they've learned from building cars, they're aiming to get the price of a humanoid robot under $30,000. Their goal isn't just to build a robot, it's to build millions of them.
And this really highlights Figure's key advantage. They're already on the job. While other companies are still testing things internally, Figure 02 is on a BMW assembly line right now. Its ability to learn and interact using OpenAI's models gives it a massive edge in just adapting and getting things done today. Okay, so the marketing videos look amazing, right? But let's get real for a second. Behind all those slick demos lies a set of incredibly difficult and still unsolved engineering problems. So let's break down the 5 biggest hurdles that are holding these robots back from being everywhere. Here they are: energy, dexterity, stability, autonomy, and safety. Every single company in this race is desperately trying to solve these 5 fundamental challenges, and whoever cracks them first is probably going to define the next decade of robotics. Let's start with the biggest bottleneck of all, battery life. This chart says everything you need to know. Most of these humanoids can only run for about 2 hours on a charge, but a normal work shift is 8 hours. This power gap is the single most critical problem that's stopping them from being adopted everywhere. Next up is dexterity. Think about the human hand. It's an evolutionary masterpiece. Replicating that is, well, it's unbelievably hard. As the famous roboticist Rodney Brooks put it, even with all our progress, robot hands are going to be pathetic compared to ours for at least another decade. That fine motor control you need for delicate jobs is still a massive, massive challenge. And then there's the simple problem of just staying upright. You see, a wheeled robot is passively stable. If you turn it off, it just sits there. But a bipedal robot needs active stability, which means it's constantly burning energy just to keep from falling over. And what happens if the power cuts out? A 150-pound machine just collapses on the spot. That's a huge safety hazard.
Okay, so we've covered the engineering nuts and bolts, but as these robots get more and more capable, we slam into a totally different kind of problem. It's not a technical one, it's a psychological one. The question becomes, just how human should we really make them look?
This brings us to this fascinating concept called the Uncanny Valley. A roboticist named Masahiro Mori came up with it. He said that as robots look more human, we tend to like them more, but only up to a certain point. When a robot is almost human, but something is just a little bit off, our affinity just plummets, and we feel this deep sense of unease or even revulsion.
And you have totally seen this play out in movies for decades. I mean, think of the Stepford Wives, where they look perfect, but their behavior is just wrong, and it's deeply unsettling. Or the synths from the show Humans, who are so good at their jobs that their tiny little imperfections feel psychologically huge. Even Ava from Ex Machina, who is obviously a machine, makes us uncomfortable because she blends mechanical parts with perfectly human expressions.
So why does this happen? Well, one of the leading theories is that it's basically a leftover instinct, an old program running in our brains. We're hardwired to spot subtle abnormalities in other people as a potential sign of disease or danger. A near-perfect robot might just be tripping that ancient alarm system.
Okay, this brings us to our final and maybe the most complex part of this whole discussion. As these autonomous machines start working alongside us, we are facing a whole host of urgent legal and ethical questions that, frankly, society is just now beginning to even think about.
One of the main legal ideas being floated is this concept of a responsible human representative. The principle is actually pretty simple. A robot can't be held liable, so a specific human, whether it's the company that made it, the person who owns it, or the one operating it, has to be legally on the hook for whatever that robot does.
But actually creating these laws, it's incredibly challenging. For one, there's no agreement on what a robot even is legally. Is it a product, like a toaster, or is it something else? Plus, the technology is moving so much faster than our legal systems can possibly keep up. By the time a law gets passed, the tech it was supposed to govern is already 2 generations ahead. So, we end here with what is really the central question of our robotic future. We are on the verge of deploying millions of autonomous machines that can learn, that can adapt, and that can make their own decisions. The challenge for us isn't just about the engineering anymore. It's about how we ensure these creations act in our best interests, and figuring out, once and for all, who is to blame when they inevitably don't.